Check 1 2. All right. You're too quiet. You're always too quiet. Hello. Okay. Gotta fix the set on your side. Here, I'm gonna. You know what? Yeah, is that better?
No.
That's much worse, isn't it? Yeah, because now you have to be way over here. Oh no. Welcome to the Rough Report, everybody. I just got a new computer. So the setup, I had to change the setup a little bit because of the computer. And yeah, so I'm gonna get rid of that. There we go. All right, I gotta fix the camera here.
This is some legit behind the scenes stuff here. Yeah, you made it much worse.
Yeah, well, I'm fixing it.
Oh, I get it.
Worse or made better?
Worse.
All right.
'Twas the blurst of times.
'Twas the blurst of times.
Stupid monkey.
Welcome to the Rough Report, where we just quote Simpsons for like an hour. Roughly.
Roughly.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even practice that.
We are professional
Natural charisma.
broadcast people.
All over the place.
We are, of course, broadcasting live from Ottawa,
From
the
basement.
capital of Canada.
From the basement, which is why I always show up with my pajamas.
Yes.
Oh, my mic wasn't even on.
Oh, yeah, that would explain.
All
I
of
thought your
those
voice
gems-
was just quiet.
No, all of those gems, I'm just like spitting gold here, and last no one's around to hear it because I'm just talking into the void. Well,
Yes. All right. Yeah. So, oh my God, lots going on. The Trump tariffs. The election polls have definitely gotten interesting.
Canadian election polls.
The Canadian election polls,
federal
of course.
election.
And the federal election is, again, the vote is happening when?
April 28th.
April 28th.
Yeah.
So it's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like the conservatives are
Shitting the bed.
are really shitting the bed. And you know what? It's like it's like they didn't even have to do anything, right? Like it's the conservatives are just being the conservatives.
Yeah.
Once it sort of became
Oh
a
my
thing
God.
where yeah, you got to be careful there. Carney
forgot
or
about that.
once it became apparent that Trudeau wasn't part of the picture anymore. Wow, people's attitudes really changed.
Which is hilarious because it is such a very specifically Canadian political thing that people get tired of a leader. And so like Justin, in my opinion, was lefter than Carney. And so from a
Not by much.
by much,
But yeah, I would agree with that.
but folks in Canada still don't really recognize the centrism of and rightism of the Liberal Party. And so my opinion doesn't really fucking matter in that regard. Whether I think whether I think Carney is too far right doesn't matter to people in Canada because they see Liberal Party. They're like, oh, that means they're a left party.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless.
Oh God, some interesting things I'll have to say about that if we get to it later in the show. But yeah, the first kind of like, I guess, story I wanted to cover was these polls and how like drastic they've gotten.
Yeah.
And this one was just updated yesterday. I posted one the other day that was pretty well the same. It seems to have remained steady.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Liberals at 43.9%, with the Conservatives at 37.4%. Now, typically, you would see these polls looking a bit tighter.
Yeah.
Even then, like it isn't like 10%.
Yeah,
right?
like this
But,
isn't saying that stay home and don't vote. Your vote doesn't matter. This
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
very much go fucking vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not in the bag for the Liberals.
No,
and I'm
it
saying,
never
and
is.
of course, as I always want to emphasize, saying this only in the context of defeating the Conservatives.
Yeah.
This is not a pro-Liberal Party show.
No.
Okay. Just defeating the Conservatives is
Mm-hmm.
the top priority, unfortunately, because we don't have a really healthy democracy.
Yeah.
So we're
Because
kind
of-
of stuck in this hell loop.
In no small part because of first past the post, which is a whole other topic unto itself.
Yeah.
Of basically it's the first person gets in and then that's it. There's no ranked ballot. It's just the first one who passes the finish line. Doesn't matter by one vote or by 90% of the vote. Does not matter. That one vote is enough.
Yeah, and as Variety Jess says in the chat here, in my opinion, especially as the NDP shits the bed, and boy howdy, have they ever.
And
I mean, I think they recognize the reality of what this election is in a lot of ways, and I think they're not trying very hard. But that said,
they had 4 years.
yeah,
I understand a lot of them were COVID years, but you've still had 4 years.
Yeah, I think in how they've worked with the Liberals, they were able to accomplish a few things that were generally positive, what is it, dental care expansion and things like that. But they didn't really establish themselves any further as the party you really want to vote for. They weren't offering anything extraordinary to contrast themselves and really make themselves more of a healthy democracy, a unique option in compared to what was already available in the Liberals.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they just cut ties, just to make themselves look more unpopular. The Ontario NDP and how they handled Sarah Jama. And
Sarah was right.
In how they handled her in terms of her pro-Palestinian, criticism of Israel stuff. And, this story just came out. I'm not much of a Reddit reader, but this for some reason was the top link when I was trying to Google more about this story. I had never heard of Jessica Wetz. I had to look up who she was. NDP cuts ties with Jessica Wetz over criticism of Israel. The NDP cut ties with criticizing Israel, saying nothing should be compared to the Holocaust. Now, to be fair, with a lot of time, comparing anything to the Holocaust is typically distasteful, except for when it's another Holocaust. I think when there's an active genocide happening, you go, wow, that is a lot like that other genocide that happened.
So I think that if you're talking about Bosnia, if you're talking about Rwanda, if anyone were to clutch their pearls, if you were to call those Holocausts, then maybe I would think that this criticism of Israel would have a bit more weight. But I think that we can. I'm couching this because I realize disappointedly how far we've fallen, how many people would disagree with stuff like that.
Well, what really makes it a pain here is, and in some instances, Jagmeet Singh has been one of the few people to kind of in federal politics to voice sympathy for the Palestinians in any capacity, whether it not be enough. Or not be explicit enough, or not be often enough, that's a different story. But he has, and in the content of one of the videos that they did together here, I wonder if I still have it.
But Jess is saying that the NDP threw under the bus for her OnlyFans. Christ, guys, if any party should be pro-worker, pro-sex worker, it should be the NDP.
See,
you're killing
me.
Thing,
and that's the thing I'm confused on when I was reading up on this earlier is, some people are saying it's because of Israel, and some people are saying it's because of the OnlyFans. In either direction, it's a really strange thing to do. There was this in the National Post. In the National Post, they frame it as...
that's who she is. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with her name.
As just pointed out here, a queen for Canadian healthcare for women. That seems to be mainly her thing. her OnlyFans or sex worker days. I don't know if it's in her past, but certainly not
doesn't
the
matter.
emphasis of her internet presence. But even then, it doesn't matter. This is a pro sex worker show.
But
folks.
also, like, okay, we're in the year of our Lord 2025, and capitalism is crushing all of us. So anyone who now at this stage can still say with a straight face that, you know, the only way that you sell your body is through sex work, ignoring all the ways that workers' rights and safeties have been rolled back. And good thing that we're not the U.S., because didn't the U.S. just shut down OSHA? Or was that a fever dream? I'm Googling it right now because so much has happened that I think I've just passed out with rage for the past, I don't know, 5 years. I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying to find where, because like in the video that I saw where they were talking to each other, they said, we're discussing things in a pro-Palestinian context. It was the video that you see the picture from the National Post shot there. But I wanted to bring this up because also to kind of criticize Google for feeding explicitly right-wing bullshit into the top of my search here. But as soon as I saw Western Standard, I'm not familiar with this, but at Western Standard, I was just like, oh, this got right-wing vibes.
Yeah,
So, of course, I had to look, and the way they frame it is hilarious.
yeah,
because
sorry,
it's so...
I just saw the title now, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
fuck off.
Yeah, it's so lazy tabloid rag.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so like
Grow up.
shocking.
Yeah.
Porn model connected to NDP leader Jagmeet Singh shows off fetus in
hideous video.
Hideous video.
Amazing.
And okay, actually, I think this is where I saw the other video was in this story. They had it linked.
Okay.
So they showed the notorious fetus video, and honestly, I feel like she's taking you for a ride. You be the judge.
Okay.
But anyway, how this entire story reads, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be a bit of a lesson in how to spot bullshit, especially like just how provocative and antagonizing all the language is. Like even this story up here, revealed NDP goes tits up. Features OnlyFans porn model in it. They just have to emphasize the word porn. They could, like when you say OnlyFans model, people are going to know what you mean, but they had to put the word porn in there just to really, punch it up a bit. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh should do a better job of vetting publicized supporters, or is vile behavior normal in Canada's extreme left-wing socialist party? Now, just think of everything that we were just saying about the NDP. I would love to think that the NDP is an extreme left-wing socialist party.
Also, like, if the way that they were framing this was actually true, I would be so impressed, and I would be thrilled.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, like that. Yeah, gets a porn star to promote his socialist party. I freaking wish it was actually that cool.
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
that would be
like,
great.
yeah, like that kind of like rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although,
Like, I think
from
that would
everything
be-
I understand about Jessica West, she is pretty cool regardless. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So on Wednesday, a video of Singh in Vancouver pornography creator.
Amazing. I love it.
A purveyor of adult scandalous wares.
I was at the pornography store. I was buying pornography.
Oh God, I can't get over like the language. Like, how much effort do you think they put in making this trying to like sound as scandalous as possible? The two, fully clothed, delivered anti-Israeli rhetoric, presumably to bolster Singh's poor poll ratings, though it's unclear when the video was made. Okay, like that's a very funny sentence too, right?
Yeah.
Presumably to bolster Singh's poor poll rating. So the thing that you want to frame
Yeah.
as an unpopular thing to say, which is criticizing Israel or being pro-Palestinian in any capacity, is going to boost you
Yeah.
in the polls.
Yeah.
That's what you would presume.
I wish.
I
should.
I'm very it's very odd. The situation worsened for Singh. Another video of Wetz is circulating, and it's far more disturbing. The video shows Wetz taking self-induced abortion medication and bragging about it. So again, I think like she might be making a point about it.
Yeah, she's got to be, because
like that's I think like when you watch the content, but again, like right-wing people are either dumb as a sack of bricks and prone to this sort of like fear and agitation response,
And
even when that sort of hysteria, even when it's not really called for, and that sort of thing, or they just lie on purpose and be sensationalist because that's what gets them attention and all sort of thing. And two things can be true at the same time, so on and so forth.
There's a lot of overlap.
A lot of overlaps, yeah. The situation we're first saying, in a macabre spectacle, she also displays the tiny dead fetus which she kept in her refrigerator.
So, okay, here's the thing. I'm not going to go into too many. I'm just going to say this once. If you have an abortion at 5 weeks, that's a period. It's just a period, right? Like, you need to, take some hormones to make that happen. But in terms of like fetal development, that's a period.
So anyway, these are the clips. OnlyFans porn model. Again, I'm guessing this Leviathan character on Twitter there is probably one of the writers or contributors to this.
Yeah.
Appears alongside Jagmeet Singh in a keffiyeh. Oh, a keffiyeh scarf. No, not the scarf. Video to talk about how they want to throttle and prevent Israel from winning their war and rescuing their hostages.
Bitch, same.
It's just so sensationalist too in comparison to what's actually said here.
As Canadians, we're proud the American military does not get to decide what goes on inside our borders because we don't vote for them, and Palestinians deserve the exact same thing, and I know you feel similar.
Absolutely. Should not be selling or buying from a country, especially a Netanyahu government that violates human rights. We should be sanctioning those that are involved in these war crimes.
Why are we buying and selling arms to a place that doesn't respect international borders?
The points are actually things that we put forward either in a motion or we put forward individually.
The censorship going on right now with Palestinian voices is unbelievable, and we need to get out there and have our voices heard as Canadians because we have the privilege of being able to vote and really have a say in this.
Get out and vote, yeah, and absolutely. We also have an important platform to help people around the world where their voices are being silenced, and we can actually amplify their voices.
I encourage you to go to elections.ca, figure out where your riding is, what you need to do to vote. Appreciate that so much.
I disagree with literally none of that.
Yeah, that is all very good.
That is like
fine.
That is like the least sensationalist take I can
which
possibly
again is
imagine.
Confusing to say that her political stance is what got her losing this promotional deal that she had with the NDP. That narrative's a bit odd, but again, it's really odd if that's just it turns out she was an OnlyFans person like a while ago or still is or whatever.
They're citing libs of TikTok.
Yeah,
wow.
of course. Well, of course they're tagging
course.
libs of TikTok. Of course, they're going to be buddies.
Yeah.
Proudly showing off her fetus in a refrigerator. Okay, so here's the disturbing video.
Dollars to Donuts is one of those little plastic babies.
My sesame seed size baby is in the fridge. She's chilling. Duh.
Okay.
That was the
Yeah.
shocking, disturbing video.
Yeah. So that's either Jell-O that hasn't set yet, or that's a period to take to the doctor to make sure that everything's sorted after an abortion. Like, honestly, nothing about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want someone else's period or abortion in my fridge. But that's her own fridge. She gets to decide.
Yeah.
It's like I would be a little bit weirded out by some stranger having breast milk in my
funny,
fridge.
Like somebody
It's her own fridge.
being forward and obvious and in their education of showing people what women's health concerns are and what they're like.
Yeah.
And then this right-wing news page just kind of having this little baby temper tantrum about it. It's just so typical of these people.
It's predictable. For all that they want to do to make sure that women either don't have access to reproductive health care or don't even know about their reproductive health, this is entirely predictable non-brand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised exactly zero.
So this is Jessica Wetz's her own TikTok, and of course, part of the stitches with this Mario Zelaya guy. I've stitched him on TikTok a couple times myself because he's just a right wing lunatic. Like, look into this dude's eyes and tell me if you see anything happening behind them. But yeah. Anyways, this is from Jessica Wetz's TikTok, and kind of talking about this this situation here.
Your desk is going to be the end of me.
This is
Okay, I just want to make sure you can hear it.
Yep.
batshit crazy. I have 3 TikTok accounts with 500,000 followers talking about human rights and women's health, and this is how they want to summarize me. And the NDP threw me under the bus. They invited me on. All because one pro-genocidal dude on Twitter got a viral tweet. I made a video talking about mechanisms of genocide, one of which is dehumanization, and an example of this is how during the Holocaust Hitler referred to Jewish babies as animals, and then they did what to them.
So that was her
and then the
comparison,
Palestinian
her
government, I
vicious
showed a clip
comparison.
of them saying the same thing about Palestinian babies. And she thinks that's disrespectful to compare the two.
Fuck off.
In
As in,
this
like-
education system in our country, in every single province, you learn to compare and contrast genocide and apartheid and able to understand it by looking at examples through history. In the video me and Jagmeet make together, we talk about how they need to stop censoring Palestinian voices, and then they go on to say that I won't be participating in future campaign events. They had the opportunity here to say, hey, we didn't know that she did SW, but because her main platform is women's health, but we stand with SWs because we support marginalized communities, and we also stand with the Palestinians. And like, imagine like criminal case that South Africa brought forward to the International Court of Justice. They talk about what Israel is doing and say it's an apartheid by comparing it to South Africa. Do you think people in South Africa are saying, how dare you compare our apartheid to that? These aren't relatable at all.
No, they're
No,
agreeing.
because they're using examples of the mechanisms you use in apartheid. They made pro-genocide propaganda with one email.
Clown shoes honking
Yeah.
all over the place. Like, yeah, Jessica, I agree with you.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
silly nonsense.
Absolutely crazy. So, as one person in that initial Reddit post that I saw, they said, "Oh, how do we take our popularity from 5% to 4%?" And that's so apt. It's just like,
I mean-
what are you doing?
Yeah.
What,
Like we really need either an overhaul of the NDP or like a new left party, because like the actual left socialist radical ideas are nowhere to be found
Yeah.
anywhere.
yeah.
Like, no one has the
Yeah.
guts.
That's why it's so laughable to see someone trying to tell anybody that the NDP is this extreme left wing
I wish.
socialist party.
Like, I would be
It's
over
insane.
the fucking moon if they were.
Yeah, yeah. That's just not accurate or
No.
true.
Which makes me sad.
Batty. Okay, so what was it? Oh yeah, Trump tariffs. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I swear in all things good and holy.
This weird dinosaur man.
Yeah, and also, okay, so I don't know if we didn't talk about what he's going to pull up. So I don't know if you pulled up the information about saying that they fucked up the numbers, because financial experts are saying like the number should be like a quarter of the tariffs that they put out, and they just completely fucking kludged the entire thing. Did you?
That seems on brand.
Okay. Let me grab that. But if you want to talk on this nightmare while it's happening.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Say 50 plus countries have reached out for tariff talks to the White House. Talk about like causing a shitstorm. For Trump, like obviously doesn't like to work a lot, right? And who does? But it's like you don't kick the hornet's nest, and then like, I mean, I guess you do, because again, as I said so many times about this fucking guy, who's gonna stop him? Who's gonna stop him?
And that's the thing, is that he's going forward and doing all these things in small part because with his previous presidency, It proved that there are no breaks. There's no stopgaps. There's no protection of any of the systems. All of the systems in the U.S. government at large are based on the honor system of someone saying, do this, the other party agreeing, or the party that disagree, the authorizing party says like, okay, well, that's bad, you should stop. But then the party that doesn't just says, fucking make me, and then they don't. So, like, you can make rules, but if there's zero enforcement of any of the rules, they aren't actually rules. They're suggestions.
Yeah.
And so from his first presidency...
More like guidelines, really.
Not even guidelines. Suggestions.
Yeah.
Because the people who wrote Project 2025... because like Trump isn't masterminding any of this. Let's be honest. He's not. He golfs all day. He's got like 2.5 dementia-riddled brain cells left. He's not in charge. He's the figurehead. He's not in charge. So the people who wrote Project 2025 saw everything that he was able to accomplish from 2016 to 2020, realize that there's no breaks. We don't actually need to abide by any rules. We can tear the entire thing down from the rafters to the basement, and no one will stop them. Nothing I've said has any evidence to the contrary so far.
It's basically like taking like a private equity to the government. You know, like what private equity basically picking up companies, stripping them for parts, and selling off the assets and reaping
vulture capitalism.
Just total vulture capitalism.
Yeah.
And like, and they've done this to multiple perfectly successful companies. Was it for some reason
Toys
the
R
first
Us?
Toys R Us, Red Lobster. Venture these companies come in and just absolutely ravage them and take them for everything they're worth in a quick little burst.
If you need a short documentary to bring you up to speed on to what that means, just watch Pretty Woman. This is not a new concept.
Yeah. It's been a while since I watched that, but I think I'm having vague
that was literally Richard
recollections.
Gere's job.
Yeah, was private equity?
Yeah, it was to buy companies and then strip them for parts. So, like, this has been long in the making. This is not new what they're doing. It's new that people have realized and been able to do it to the government.
Companies, to companies that are obviously on the verge of folding or are actively folding.
But that's not where you make the most money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You make the most money by doing that to successful companies.
Yeah.
Like Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And so far, I don't know, like, I haven't seen in my own life a lot of stuff to suggest that tariffs have affected our prices in any major way. I don't know.
Okay, but A, we're in Canada, and B, you don't grocery shop in 3.
I don't grocery shop as often as you. No,
and so you wouldn't notice immediate price hikes on anything because you're not the one who's like grocery shopping like several times a week.
Yeah.
But also, just I wouldn't anticipate that from a consumer end that we would see them dramatically just yet.
Yeah.
Like,
probably be more of a slow roll.
Well, it's especially like, if there's stuff that we're buying already that's Canadian, then we wouldn't necessarily see it. But also capitalism, also Loblaw is also lots of Canadian corporations are more than willing to strip us for parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They, what is it? I think it was like a union leader I saw a quote saying, they'll be happy to wave the Canadian flag while gouging you. So don't count on them.
Canada is basically 5 companies in a trench coat. It's a telecom company. It's mining companies. It's where are the other ones?
What are
groceries?
The other? Yeah.
And so what? Telecom, groceries, mining. There's 2 or more. I'm certain there are.
Yeah.
But Canada does not have healthy free market because we keep letting them consolidate and fuck us.
Yeah.
Gas companies. Like, there's gas price fixing on gas. It's been acknowledged since the 90s. They just didn't fucking do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember a piece on like This Hour is 22 Minutes in the 90s talking about the price fixing of gas in Canada, and then it continues to this day. Literally nothing has changed.
Yeah.
So that's all very cool.
Yeah. The lack of checks and balances on this type of power is entirely why we are where we are.
Yeah.
That is, you can almost like, I'd hate to say it's like just one singular problem.
Yeah.
Because I think it is a little bit more multifaceted than that. But if you were to say what is the biggest factor in all of this, it's exactly that. The Reaganomics-ifying of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Pretty Woman, what was that? Late 80s, early 90s?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That was certainly the Reagan era of finance.
Yeah.
Who is our Reagan? What the fuck's his name again?
Mulrooney?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Canadian version of Reagan was Mulrooney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chan also did a lot of that shit. But,
Yeah.
So I'm not,
Neoliberalism.
yeah, so I'm not giving
Kicking up
liberals a pass
speed
on that.
around in the early 2000s there.
Yeah, and then Harper showed that you can go ahead and destroy science and muzzle everyone, and you'll fucking get away with it.
Yeah.
So
there are
that's
no
all very
there are
cool.
no checks and balances, right? Like the lack of regulation on corporate power and by extension like government power, because the whole right wing thing is to cut all the government red tape, right?
Yeah.
But that is also in turn the regulation on corporate power. Like
there's slightly more regulation in Canada insofar as, for example, on the federal election end of things, the party in power doesn't decide how the elections are funded. They're an independent entity, and in the way that elections for the provinces aren't. So you can't just say that, I'm going to cut all of this. That's not under the power, just like, one person, one party. So we have a little tiny smidgen more checks and balances, but holy shitting fuck, we can't take them for granted, because if we get something like PP in power, then I am confident that they will try to break as much as they fucking can, because that's what they do now.
Yeah. And so, if you don't want Canada to be liquefied and stripped down for parts,
More so than it already is.
liquidated.
Yeah.
I meant to say liquidated, but liquefied, sure.
Yeah,
That
potato tomato
works
at this
too.
point. Yeah, like it's all the tool.
Put us in a blender and
Any more so than it's already happening under neoliberalism. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
What other stories you got for us?
I got a couple more things left. We were actually blazing through these topics. I might circle back to a couple things, actually, now because now
You've
I
only
realize
got 20 minutes.
I know, and I just like skipped through, like when I was talking about like there was a couple thoughts I had when I had the pull tracker thing held up, and when I was emphasizing that we only say this because this is not a pro-liberal party show. We only say this to defeat the conservatives, and we don't have this healthy democracy and stuff.
But also, we're so disillusioned at this point for the NDP.
Yeah, obviously, as things just aforementioned
So it doesn't
in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing I want to point, because it's a very annoying, pervasive, circular sort of debate that I keep seeing happen in American elections, but now I'm seeing it happen more and more in Canadian ones. And maybe it's been going on forever, and I'm just like seeing it more often. I don't know, but the bullshit argument around, well, you gotta support this party, and you can't be too negative about them. This is election time, or this is an important time.
Yeah.
This is an important election,
Yeah.
and so you can't say anything negative about the Liberal Party, or else you'll be mistaken as secretly wanting the Conservatives to win, or making a bad judgment or a bad move, and things like this. And like everybody's supposed to be blue no matter who, or here in Canada,
You
I don't
mean
know if there's
red?
you red no matter what. I don't know if they.
Well, no, it's ABC. Anyone but conservative.
Yeah, anyone but conservatives. And yeah, so like, what is it? I was, it was just in a post the other day where somebody was like giving me shit along these lines. It's like, I have to hear this stuff from the dyed-in-the-wool liberals every election. I don't need to hear it from people who are like, oh, I would normally support the NDP, but, it's not helpful. The liberals still deserve criticism. They still, like, if they're enacting bad policy as a matter of trying to appeal to right-wing votes, I think that is ultimately bad for us, whether you consider it good election strategy or not. It's besides the point. It is ultimately going to be bad for us, and we should be aware and conscientious of it, and not depend on electoralism to always pull our ass out of the fire, because that sort of thinking is what has helped get us here. So I just like want to emphasize to people, don't give people shit just because like they're mad at the Liberal Party, or they think the Liberal Party is taking a bad position on something, just to be like, well, there's, we don't want the Conservatives to win, though. Yeah, we all freaking know that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think
don't be exhausting.
Yeah, it's like I think that message has been heard loud and clear.
Yeah.
But using that message as a way to make sure that nothing gets better is so counterproductive.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Like when they
I feel
are
like people
like so
turn
close.
off that part of themselves, and then when election times comes around, they're just like, and suddenly, I gotta support the Liberals no matter what. It's like, where were you everywhere in between?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, of all the times that we can actually like push the Liberals to change their messaging, I would imagine it would be during election time if their polls start going downwards because people are saying shit like, oh, your position on Israel? Really fucked.
Yeah.
Maybe don't support genocide. What the shit?
Yeah.
Like we need, like, for example, Carney, for all his faults, for all the ways that like I am not chuffed about this guy, he has put out like a really impressive housing policy. So we need to find points like that and push the Liberals left.
Yeah.
For the life of us, for the love of all things good and holy, use this opportunity to push the fucking Liberals left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Push the NDP left. Push everyone left.
Yeah.
Move the Overton window to the left.
Because it's going to keep going right.
Yeah.
As long as you have this thing where because the Conservatives and right-wing interests always have more money.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They have the biggest donors, and they're always going to, because that's the type of politics they appeal to.
And
Is
guess what?
favoring
We
that
will
class.
just have less and less money if we
Yeah.
let them in.
Yeah. So and so they capitulate to that moneyed power to try and make some sort of compromise.
Yeah.
And make it seem like, no, we're cool. We're not gonna. We're on your level, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, like probably a better way to put that, but besides the point. Yeah, continuously doing that is what has, done the goose stepping to the right.
Yeah.
We keep going further and further to the right.
Yeah.
One election after another, because of this.
Yeah. You know what would absolutely explode my knickers is if the Liberals got a majority and then just led from the left the entire 4 years.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I'm not counting on
I would,
that.
yeah, I
I'm
would
not
not
holding
expect
my
it.
breath.
But you know, if
But-
they suddenly were like just went like really hard left on a bunch of issues,
Yeah.
just because they had the majority,
Yeah.
that would be incredible. I would love that. That's
yeah.
what the
I'd be over the
conservatives are
fucking moon.
fear mongering about. Like, there's
Yeah.
going to be a communist takeover if that happens. And
Let's
again,
do
as
it.
I always say when they fear monger about that, I freaking wish.
Yeah, yeah,
I freaking wish.
yeah. Like
I
fuck-
know that's not going to happen. I would love for that to happen, but I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, stop reading from my dream diary.
yeah.
Fuck off. But no, that was
And that should be the biggest sign. Like, because the thing is, like, when Trump won,
Mm-hmm.
all the losers and fascists and those pieces of garbage loved it, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, when liberals or Democrats win, socialists don't love it. You know, they go, okay, you know, it's better than the alternative.
They're like, what is what it is. At
Right?
least
So-
at least we know who we're fighting against.
So yeah, when you see the actual leftists and communists actually super excited
yeah.
to see somebody winning,
Yeah.
then you can maybe have a leg to stand on there.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say like then you can be worried. Be like, worried about what? About a healthy environment,
Yeah.
about people having their needs
Well,
met,
just
about
about
robust
all the
healthcare.
government red tape and the taxing and da-da-da-da. And let me tell you, again, the government red tape and taxing,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, is to the mutual benefit of everybody.
Yeah.
You can pick and choose maybe bad policy here and there, something that doesn't work, something that does work.
Yeah.
You can get into the weeds with it there. But generally speaking,
Mhm.
there's regulations are written in blood.
Yeah.
The blood of workers, the blood
Yes.
of your family members and children.
Yep.
And those taxes pay for our health care and things that are
Roads.
mutually beneficial and to everybody and that everybody uses.
Yeah.
So the language of trying to take that stuff away is the language of billionaires. It's the language of capitalists who don't give a shit if you die if
Yeah.
they can get another dollar.
And of bootlickers who are happy to, you know, throw themselves into the volcano.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's what you're saying about, you know, the regulations are written in blood. The shirtwaist factory fire had so many fatalities because the exits were locked to keep union organizers out. So, like, keep that in mind, that, like, just because we have sort of soothed ourselves into thinking that we are beyond the time of, you know, needing to have any kind of violent political action, just think that the billionaires gladly kill us in a billion different ways every fucking day.
Yeah.
And the only power we have against that is
You know, for all the
togetherness,
fear
unionizing.
mongering about COVID and how it was going to just kill the average American, you know, like economically, you know.
Turns out it just killed them, like, literally.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it killed them literally.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like look at through authoritarian methods
Mhm.
that Trump is plowing through all this stuff that is surely going to result in the exasperation of poverty.
Yeah.
And is going to cause people to lose money in such a way that it will kill them.
Yes.
And it's all the things that they sort of fear-mongered that the government was secretly doing
Mm-hmm.
about COVID.
Yeah. Now
They
they're
are just like out there literally doing.
Yeah.
And hammering through this policy that is actually dangerous, actually economically disruptive to the lower classes, disastrous to
Yeah.
the lower classes.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only people that could stand to reap any benefit from it is the billionaire class or the capitalist investment class,
Yeah.
because they're gonna take the stock market disruption,
Mhm.
take all that turmoil, and turn it into profit. As they normally do. And there's a sense that some of this tariff stuff is meant to do exactly that, to mess up and play with the stock market, so a few disaster capitalists can, reap the benefit.
Mhm. Yeah, because like the typical person doesn't have the inside scoop on what exactly is going to crash and burn. But there's no regulations in the U.S. Congress against having stocks, and so insider trading is effectively legalized.
Yeah, and as Jess reiterates, all regulations were written in blood.
Yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. Because like I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
a single policy, where somebody being proactive, say, going, hey, this could potentially be a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody standing up and making that a big voice and people and them being listened to.
Yeah, because that's the thing. People are cheaper than safety measures.
Yeah, it's not until something disastrous happens and then it hurts the capital where it
has to
creates...
be disastrous enough.
Yeah,
because that train wreck that wiped out like that fucking town. That was Canada. I was thinking the U.S. Was that town? Okay, the town in the U.S. Was it Palestine? Am I crazy?
It was. Yeah, the name of the town was Palestine.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so that town that they wiped out the fucking map. What happened to that?
Yeah, who got in trouble? Who went to jail?
Yeah. So like
nobody.
Yeah, and so human life isn't worth enough for them on their own merits to think that like we should do things out of the goodness of our hearts. The concern is, how do we extract the most profit? And if that profit means that we're going to be transporting people beside radioactive goods, then we will do that. Oh, what's that? Now there's a regulation that we can't do that? Well, either, I guess we'll begrudgingly do it, or we just won't let people know. We'll just be a little hush-hush on that one.
All right. All right, gotta talk about this. This is gonna end off the show. It's so like it's funny how for years and years and years, like all through the Bush years, like as soon as I became politically aware enough to understand the terminology that people were saying, the liberal media.
Fuck, I wish.
Oh, the liberal dominated media. I guess like you could say, in a technical term, the liberal dominated media is a thing in as far as the umbrella of liberalism that includes the full spectrum of the parties that exist within our liberalism, including conservatives and the like.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's dominated by that narrative because you don't have any like explicitly communist news sources in the mainstream,
that
right?
Would be great.
But to say that if you want to reiterate it as the media has a left-wing bias or even just left of center biase.
I wish.
I freaking
That would
wish.
be lovely.
I freaking wish.
That would be delightful.
We probably talked about it many times before on the show, like the false neutrality.
Yeah.
Right. That where they even like just take, this side wants to stop the genocide. This other side wants to continue killing babies.
Yeah.
Who is correct, really? We have to ask ourselves and consider both these options in order to be fair and balanced. That sort of thinking, right? And it's like, no, one side is obviously wrong, and the press has to grow a freaking spine. And instead of just like asking questions and getting people's feedback and hearing all sides, take an educated moral stance on something, But anyway, Rachel Gilmore is a very good independent journalist. I think she used to work for Global, if I'm not mistaken. But she got laid off like in a round of layoffs, and then went independent and actually built herself a good following there. And so, like, for instance, she has 24,000 subscribers on YouTube. And she got hired to do a fact-checking segment on CTV where weekly, I guess leading up to the election, They were going to do a checking segment on one of their news programs with her. So I don't know how long the segment was supposed to be. Sounds like it would probably be like one of those 5 or 10 minute little things. But either way, she has such a hate following on social media, like because she did a lot of very good and accurate reporting on the convoy and things like that. That made her an enemy of some right-wing lunatics on the internet. And I've personally seen this. Like, I've seen some of the comments in replies she gets on Threads, on Facebook, on Twitter. I think I follow her pretty well on everything now. But the absolute lunacy of these harassers. It's not even like they just got bad political takes and they agree with her aggressively. Like, it is lunacy the way these people talk and think about her and react to the things she's saying and how hysterical they are about it. Just like over the top dramatization of the things she said and done. And like it's just it is legitimately just divorced from reality. And so taking that into consideration and then seeing this and how CTV caved to political pressure from online lunatics. Let's just watch this for a minute.
Announced that I would be joining them every Friday of the campaign to do a fact check. A bunch of bad faith right-wingers who hate me for no other reason than I have reported accurately on the things that people they agree with politically have said and done. They just swarmed, including someone who up until a week before the election was Pierre Poilievre's main spokesperson and is still on Pierre Poilievre's team. And yesterday, CTV called me and informed me that I've lost this career opportunity. Because I was worried that they were going to be spineless, I recorded the phone call. And in that phone call, CTV made it extremely clear that this was being canceled because of the online backlash, not because of my skill set, not because of anything that I have said or done, but because of the way that these bad faith trolls were talking about me online. Bad faith trolls and a member of Pierre Poilievre's team. Before I play you any of this audio, I want you to understand that this is why these guys do this. This is why I get harassed so badly, because they know that it'll work.
And what have we said for years now when we're talking about how the hysteria that the right wing has about cancel culture and freedom of speech? They don't mean a fucking word of it.
No.
It is absolutely smokescreen, reflective, projection bullshit. Always accuse the enemy of the exact thing you're doing.
Yeah, they'll clutch their pearls if you use the, the F-bomb, and they'll gleefully call for genocide. But they'll absolutely
and then gleefully engage in this kind of behavior.
Jess just said that Fact Check Friday by Rachel Gilmore is now available on Canada's National Observer instead. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, very good. Very good. It's a shame because I feel like the National Observer is not as big a platform as CTV, right? CTV is obviously larger. So that is still kind of like a shame, right? Just shame on CTV. Absolute bullshit on all of that. Like, and like, how, are you not embarrassed? Yeah,
like, never mind the fact that we now understand in the year of our Lord 2025 that a lot of right-wing trolls are bad actors from other nations set to destabilize elections.
A lot of them aren't even Canadian. A lot of them may not even be real people.
So like
just chat
Russian
bots.
bot troll farms are a fucking thing, and so during a national fucking election you will allow them to control the conversation.
Again, if it was a question of her merit, it was a question of the quality of her work. If it was saying like, oh, we don't want to hire you as a fact checker because historically X, Y, and Z you've been proven to be a bad fact checker,
or we found this video of you kicking puppies.
Like even something like that, anything along those lines would be understandable. But no, it was not even that. It was pure political cowardice.
At a time where we need to just like get our heads out of our asses. Like, don't be afraid. Being afraid will only make things fucking worse.
Yeah. And it emboldens them.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you treat this crazy,
Yeah.
like it's anything less than just crazy,
Well, anything
and something that should be taken seriously,
Yeah.
that emboldens it.
And even if we know that there is a lot of crazy, like mixed in amongst that. Yeah, there's bots. Yeah, there's a lot of untreated mental health. Yeah, there's actually like a rise in right-wing fanaticism that is violent and dangerous. But you know what? You know what doesn't fix it? Capitulating.
Yeah.
That fixes none of it, and that exacerbates all of it.
Yeah. It's enabling.
Yeah.
Quite simply.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just can't believe it. And if you don't believe me, go and look for yourself at the things people say about Rachel Gilmore. I kind of got into a back and forth with a guy the other day in one of her threads. And I forget what his claim was, something about lying about the convoy. And I said, okay, like, where is this
Which
information?
part?
You're just saying shit. Like, pull up something.
Yeah.
And he pulls up, like, something akin to the Western Observer or whatever the thing I pulled up earlier was, right-wing sensationalist bullshit that had no references. Like, it did not source anything itself. It didn't source any people.
Naturally, yeah.
It didn't, it wasn't journalism, right?
Yeah.
It was just
An opinion
obvious.
piece.
This person, they're so bad and evil. And I was like, look, man, it's an obvious, like, right-wing rag, like, that's owned by a right-wing think tank like True North.
Yeah.
I think it was the think tank, and it was True North News or something like that. So his other source that he then gave me was the exact same article copied and pasted on another news site that was owned by the exact same think tank. Word for word, it was the same
Of course.
article.
Yeah.
So that was his other source, right?
Cool.
And I said, do you have anything that can back up what any of this is saying?
Yeah.
And then it just resorted to, oh, you're just, too woke or whatever kind of like nonsense it devolved into. So like that's the kind of thing these people are. They believe the right-wing bullshit as is shown to them from their preferred sources, from their little echo chamber bubble. Remember how much they used to complain about how everybody else is in an echo chamber? That's because they're the ones in the echo chamber.
Yeah.
Again, constant projection. It's always freaking projection with these people. Don't believe they're crazy. Don't believe stuff you see on Facebook and social media when it comes to journalists, especially.
Yeah. And also, like, don't cede ground to the crazy.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that news organizations are putting as much weight behind the crazy as upon verifiable facts. These are bad times. We're in bad times.
Yeah.
We're in the bad place.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bonkers. So that means we have hit the hour today. That is our show. Thank you so much for joining us, as always, Jess. Hope to see y'all next week. Hopefully we can pull ourselves together next week, because we're definitely not doing a show. I'm trying to pull up the calendar. Because this is my other screen. I'm still getting used to some of the changes I had with the new computer. There we go. April 20th is our anniversary.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be doing a show that day.
We're going to be boning.
Yeah. Yeah, giggity. Oh, you're making me blush.
Yeah.
The April 20th. So we won't be doing a show that day. So yeah, we'll definitely get to doing one next week.
On the 13th,
And let's see what other kind of crazy nonsense that descends us further into this fascist hellscape is going to bring us next week. Here we are. Here, let's play us out with the Rough Report theme song. As always, stay rough.